Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 77. All the sevens, Brady.
Woo! All the sevens. You'd think that would be lucky for some, unlucky when it comes to winter for us.
Oh, absolutely. The weather has been abysmal. I think most of the leaves on the tree that's outside my house have fallen down. It's one of those palm trees with the big palm leaf things. Half of it came down and is now in the garden. So yeah, that's going to be fun to clean up tomorrow when undoubtedly it's going to rain again. But yeah, how are you feeling, right?
Yeah, feeling great. You know, like I'm excited. The European Open is about to kick off. We just had Captain's Cup or whatever they're calling it over there, which was good to see some summer disc golf and see all the Americans go compete in Europe. So it should be a good battle over there in their summer. So, you know, I'm ignoring what's going on outside. I just draw the curtains and put on some Jomez and like I'm good to go.
Sounds very good. Sounds very good. Excellent. Well, look, we've got a great show for everyone today. First up, we're going to go through hot scores from around the country. There have been some people playing some disc golf this week, and it has been some very good disc golf. So we'll go through those. Then we're joined by James Lake, Constable James Lake, who is the New Zealand Police Disc Golf Coordinator, National Disc Golf Coordinator, and he's got a great few stories about how disc golf has helped the police force and how he's using disc golf within the police force and the services. And so we'll talk to him in a little bit more detail. Desert Island Disc Golf. And then we've got a quick reminder of some of the key dates that are coming up with regards to the NZDG SGM, which is just around the corner. So we'll remind you what some of those dates are shortly. But starting us off down south in Invercargill, Barry Van Beek hits 11 under par to hit the hot score in Queen's Park. So well done to Barry. Over at Chingford, Chris McLean hits 6 under par in Dunedin. And over at Brockville, it's Mark Tebbett who hits 3 under par. Over to Queenstown, and Pedro hits 5 under par, and Morgan Harfeld hits 6 under par at Tucker Beach. So well done to Morgan. Over at Lismore in Wanaka, Nick Steenson hits 5 under par, and at Ely Point, it's Inchy who hits 2 under par. Over at Jelly Park, Sebastian Faulkner and Luke Cunningham hit 8 down. Queen's Park is Louis Stryden with 5 under par. Over at Brooker Ave, Jarmy Sheehan hits 3 down, and it's Aaron Neal who hits 3 down at the Taylor River in Blenheim. Brady takes through the north.
Through the north as ever. Let's start at Berhampore. In the hills, we have Byron Salisbury and Carl Conliffe coming in at -4 for the hot round this week. Over on the foreshore, Carl getting it done again, another -4. And just missing out. No, we have Flavio Mayorga comes back to take the hot round of +1 at Harcourt Park. So Carl's just short of the hat trick here in Wellington. Up in Palmy, the mighty Manawatu Linkletter Reserve, Arthur Graham comes in at -6 again, lone atop the leaderboard. Taupo, Spa Park, Let's Go Lakeside, Tony Tinworth and Ray Doke coming in at +5. Over in Taranaki, Amy Whitmore stands alone and still has the hot round -1, so she is getting it done. Yeah, right. Let's go Taranaki. Over in Rotorua, Scion, Hayden Rapana coming in at -2, so people are playing in the woods in Rotorua as compared to no one's playing in Flaxmere, so we'll have to go up to McLaren's Falls. We got Josh Pratt, Quentin Suppers, and Josh Love Parada coming in at -2 for the hot round this week.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty good showing in these conditions coming up. Looking forward to the extreme. And lastly, let's go up to the Big Smoke. We'll round us out in Auckland at Henderson, full 20. Richard Watterson comes in at -2. And at Rosedale, Steve Jessup and Simon Jupert also coming in at -2 for the hot round this week.
Excellent. Some great disc golf being played. You mentioned that the Extreme is coming up in September. Brady, you're going up for that, hey?
Yeah, I snuck in, made it in before it sold out, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, look, it's shaping up to be a good one, and it often is. I mean, it's a tough course, and some good scores being shown there this week from the people who played. Good stuff. Right. Okay. So now we've got we're joined by Constable James Lake, who is the New Zealand Police Sport National Disc Golf Coordinator. I think I've got that right. We'll check with him shortly. Good evening, James.
Hi, here you go.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Very good. Thank you so much for joining us. And have I got that title right?
You got the words right, just a bit muddled up, but you were close.
Yeah.
So, right. Hey, no, thanks for having me. This is awesome.
So, look, we've often on the show we have typically players, occasionally people who kind of are kind of invested in disc golf in some way, and you're kind of coming at this from a slightly different angle. So, talk to us about New Zealand Police and disc golf. What's going on?
So disc golf in New Zealand Police is sort of early stages, a new thing that we're trying to bring in. Only started this year for us, but something we're just trying to make a bit bigger in the police, especially because it's, like I said earlier, it's something that anyone can play. It's a really good way to de-stress or for your mental health on days off. I think it has a lot of benefits. I've found personally, I know other cops have as well. That's why we're trying to make it a bigger thing for police and fire and all emergency services and stuff like that. So, sort of the main reason.
So, how did this all start?
Funnily enough, so I was working with a mate of mine who's in the police, and we were just discussing what are you doing these days off, general chat in the car as you do, and he sort of said, I'm going to play disc golf, and I just laughed at him, thought, why would you do that? And he said, no, just trust me, just go for a game and then see if you're laughing. And I thought, you know what, I've got nothing to do this day off. I'll go overthrow it. Took my mate with me, went to Rebel Sport, bought the 3-packet RPM discs at Rebel Sport, threw around and just fell in love. And here we are. So I've been playing since then. Haven't looked back since, and I've managed to pull people with me along the way, within the police and outside of the police as well, that all love the sport and stuff like that. That's sort of how it came about anyway. And then my good mate and work colleague Mike, who, funny enough, I shouldn't have brought him along because he's now better than me. But he runs touch in the police, and he had the idea of, why don't we run disc golf and you run it? And then I thought, we'll give it a go, and it seemed to work well, and it's still working well, and we're still working on making it better. So that's just sort of how it came about.
Excellent. So what's your role within the police outside of the disc golf coordinator? So
I am frontline police officer here in North Canterbury. So it's hard to explain that to some people that don't understand that. But if you call 111, I'm the police officer that comes to your door for all sorts of things. Just a massive variety of stuff. That's what I deal with.
And so I can imagine you and many of your colleagues would have been and seen some pretty some sites that you perhaps would have preferred not to see. And talk us through how you found that disc golf's helped in those situations. Yeah,
so like I won't go into detail, but you see some horrible things and you deal with some really horrible things. And at the end of the day, you're only human. We all deal with things differently. And disc golf for me on days off has been an amazing way to de-stress. You have something horrible that happens on a shift. You finish your shift, go throw some discs. You forget about that. You think, you might be with a mate, or you might even go by yourself. Just a way to de-stress and get that sort of workload out of your head, and have a bit of fun and bit of physical activity as well. It's been really, really awesome for me and some other colleagues as well. Using that for that sort of as a tool anyway.
And I was going to say, are you allowed to keep discs in the car? Can you just kind of pull over at the end of the shift? Is that frowned upon to have a car next to a course? How's that work?
While you're working, if you got caught throwing discs, it wouldn't be great. But when we had our police disc golf tournament, we had a police car there as well, and a barbecue. So we made sure we had that there as a part of it. You wouldn't be frowned upon to keep discs in a car. You might have some sort of kid that you're dealing with, and you might need them for some sort of situation. But I would try refrain from keeping them in the car, because then I'd be wanting to go and throw at work, which isn't really great. So probably try to keep them out of my car anyway.
Yeah, I can imagine driving, driving past Jelly Park or something, and
Yeah.
you get a bit distracted.
Yeah. That's exactly what would happen, I imagine.
I think it's interesting because the reasons that you spoke about, that you found it's good to de-stress as a good de-stressor. I think that's something which all disc golfers, and predominantly the largest part of the people listening today will be current players, probably know this, but maybe haven't kind of attached I'm going to go out in order to de-stress. I mean, it's maybe just something that they go and do that because they enjoy it, and at the same time that has a de-stressing component. So I think it's interesting that that's the angle into the sport rather than I don't know, other angles that people might approach the game at.
Yeah, you're right. And it doesn't have to be de-stressing. Like, even if it's, I want to go for a game tomorrow, I'm going to go for a game tomorrow, because having hobbies is important outside of work, things like that. Because if you don't, then that can build up to stress later on. So, and like you said, it doesn't have to be police. It could be any job. All jobs are stressful and have stressful times. So you could be doing anything for work, and using disc golf as a de-stressor is,
And prior to disc golf, you mentioned that your mate on the force runs touch events for police. Like, how did you transition from like player to like tournament host? Was that a smooth transition? Had you run events prior to running disc golf events?
No, I've never run an event personally. Like, I've always played sport and had my own sport teams I organised through schools and high school and stuff, and been involved in sport. But yeah, I'd never ran anything. So thankfully, I had him, who's ran lots of tournaments within the police. So it wasn't difficult, but it was definitely odd. I'm not used to doing stuff like that. But a little bit stressful. But once you've done one, it's like, oh, that was awesome. I want to do more. And seeing the people that come down and the feedback you get was awesome. Just, hey, this is awesome. When's the next one? This is the question you constantly get. It's really, really cool. Really, really cool to get that sort of feedback.
Well, that's a good question. When is the next one?
So next one, so we're looking at doing a South Island, but anyone can come. So like the one we had in Jelly Park, someone from Auckland and the police flew down just to come play for the day.
Oh, wow.
So South Island tournament I'm still confirming a date, but it'll be in November. It'll be for police, fire, and emergency services.
Awesome.
But all welcome within the emergency services to come down. So, and like, we'll have New Zealand disc sports supplies there as well on the day, and we have a barbecue and really, and some prizes and stuff. So hopefully get some good numbers in November for that one. We played, I think June, so the weather just held out for us. It was a bit muddy, but November would be so much better. In the sun, and
Yeah, especially at Jelly Park, where the numbers at Jelly Park swell during like November, December time. You're talking hundreds of people a day. So
and we're lucky with police being shift work. We were able to. We did it on a Friday, so less people walking around using it. Even though I had it booked out, I didn't even have to put signs out because it was empty. It was a Friday during the day, so I didn't have to worry about that at all.
And now, if you were a betting man, would it be police, fire, emergency services who are going to like take out this event in November?
I mean, fire. Some of the fire guys are really, really good, and they actually took out the last one. So I'd like to hope that we have some more police that step up for the next one. I think fire was first, police was second, and then fire was third place again. And then we did like a driving competition, which was fire won that, and a putting competition, which police won that. So yes, we got a few wins. But hopefully police, but you never know. So
which service would you say is the most competitive?
I would say police are more competitive, because the police sport as a whole is huge in New Zealand. It's a separate sort of organisation that runs a lot alongside police, and is massive. All sorts of sports get played. There's even whitewater rafting as a sport in police, and it's one of the biggest sports in police. So police are very, very, very competitive when it comes to sport. Yeah.
Well, Leon's just said that the fire guys are ordering baskets, so you could find out there's a few more ringers turning up to your events.
Yes, I've been told they've got some baskets coming their way to their station for practice on shift, which I'm very jealous about.
Yeah, I mean, because when they're not out for a fire, right, they're sitting around playing ping pong or putting.
Yeah, and they're allowed to do that, whereas a bit different for us because we need to be out patrolling and prevention. It's called preventing things and stuff like that. So we couldn't really do that, but yeah.
When I was going to say, like if you were, like in the fire police service and like you had no idea about like this event and that kind of stuff, what could people expect at the event in November? Like besides, like putting competitions along, like, is it stroke play? Is it teams? Can you tell us a bit more about like the event itself?
Yeah, so the way we ran the first one and we'd like to run the second one is it's you're playing by yourself, but we put you in a group of 4. And usually with people so you start off comfortably, play around, and then we then get scores from the first round, and then we put them into groups of their placings to then make it nice and competitive for a final round. In the first one, we just did only the second round count, but the next one we're going to try and make it that your whole score counts. And we had a lunch break, we had a decent barbecue, some drinks and stuff like that, and then a driving competition, putting competition at the end, and then just a miniature prize giving and spot prizes. That's basically how it runs. And then depending on how many numbers we get, we'd probably have a little miniature after function as well at the next one as well. Somewhere find a place that would be happy to have us.
I can imagine that the numbers are going to get quite big for that, because one of the advantages disc golf gets is its accessibility, right? In terms of both from a player's athleticness, if you like, but also the cost of getting involved, right? It's not like you got to buy a 2,000 set of $2,000 golf clubs or anything like that. I mean, you mentioned your Rebel Sport Pack, and I bought a Rebel Sport Pack. They were my first 3 discs, and many people listening to this would have done the same. So how do you? I mean, that's got to be an advantage, right? To getting more people involved.
Yes, definitely. And since that first tournament, we've seen so many people on our police sport Facebook page say, how did we not know about this tournament? When's the next one? Like I said, so it already looks like we've got a lot of interest for the next one, and we'll try to do some more advertising as well. And on the day, like, we had New Zealand disc sports suppliers came down, gave us some prizes, and they were absolutely awesome from the get-go. They organised some older discs to borrow as well, so that people didn't have to think, I have to buy discs. We said we can provide you some discs if you just want to come down and throw, which we had a few people do that, and as a result they ended up buying discs at the end of the day because they wanted to come back and play the next day or the next weekend. So it was really, really cool. And like I said, those Leon and Philip were just absolutely awesome and have been still. They're really, really good, so we'll keep them on board and keep in contact with them.
I mean, you mentioned that we talked about how accessible it is from a cost perspective. It's a slippery slope, I might add.
Yes. 9 discs in, and I still want more. So
yeah, you don't want to see how far that rabbit hole goes. You really don't.
Yeah.
Nothing to see over here.
Yeah. I can agree with you on that. You're bang on. I mean, Rebel Sport, when they have their sale like they do every third day, $33, and you've got a 3-pack of discs to go for a game. So such an awesome idea, and free to play at the park as well. Golf course, you've got to pay every. So so accessible, like you say. It's really, really awesome, and has been awesome.
Well, I was going to say, in accessibility, Christchurch has done really well about having courses all around the region to play, whether it's 9 holes or 18. You said you're based in North Canterbury. So, like, what is your home course? Do you get one up there?
So I actually live in Christchurch, but I work in North Canterbury in a town called Rangiora, which is about 10 to 15 minutes north of Christchurch. And it covers a few smaller towns as well. So my home course is Jelly. That's where I started. That's where I still love playing. We'll always play at Jelly. I'm not the greatest disc golfer. I'm still trying to get better. So Jelly's a really good sort of beginner to intermediate course.
It's a great learning course.
Yeah, I actually got my first ever ace the other day,
oh, wow.
which was a complete fluke. But Like,
Not at
my
all. I
mate,
mean, you were aiming for it, right? You were aiming for it.
yes, and my mate
Aim
saw it.
it,
I've,
threw it,
I've
it
got a
went in.
witness.
Then.
Yes, I've got a witness, so people can believe me as well, which is really good. But we've got New Zealand Disc Sports Suppliers have been doing a lot of work in Christchurch, I believe, in getting courses. So there's now Warren Park, which is a really cool course. I think you mentioned it before, Brooker Ave.
Yep.
And
Yeah, you got the two over in the red
Parklands.
zone. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the park, but in Parklands, there's one there. And there's talk about making Ascot, the old Kiwi2 disc golf course, a permanent course as well, which would be,
We've heard that
I
as
can't
well.
wait to see that go. That'll be a really cool course as well. I actually played disc golf today. There's an hour south of Christchurch is a place called Ashburton.
Yeah.
Down here, it's referred to as Ash Vegas, similar to Rotor Vegas, because it's in the middle of nowhere. They've now got an 18-hole course. I played there today with my mate who's also in the place, and that's a really cool course as well. If you're ever tripping down to Queenstown, make sure you stop in Ashburton for a quick game.
Yeah. I mean, be careful, because the road from Christchurch to Queenstown, there's about 5 courses you can stop out on the way. So
yes,
yes,
I've played Queenstown, and have you played Tiana?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah,
I thought
Morgan,
that was
who's
a
on the
really,
chat,
really cool
Oh,
knows
course.
all about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the back
really
nine
enjoyed that
at
course.
Tiana
Yeah,
was great.
yeah, I enjoyed that course, and obviously Queenstown. Everyone loves Queenstown, the views and
Mm.
stuff like that.
Have
So
you
you were
been over
talking-
to Tekapo yet?
No, I did drive through Tekapo, but didn't stop because we were going to Queenstown. I didn't stop to play it. Same as Twizel. I know Twizel's got one that's on the highway as well. Those are two are on my list. And apparently, I think Wanaka's got a 9-hole now, or it has a 9-hole.
Yeah, they got 3 in Wanaka now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and one in Lake
know
Harwe
then.
as well. So
Yep.
they've got the four around that area.
Yep.
So the you mentioned that there was going to be a tournament in Rotorua at some point.
Yes, so the Australian New Zealand or Australian Pacific Emergency Services Games is coming to New Zealand next year in March.
Yeah.
And all sports, they do summer, so they do some like beach volleyball and stuff in Tauranga, but it's mainly based in Rotorua. And I was approached by the head of APs earlier this year. He found out I was doing disc golf for this, and he just said, "We want to add disc golf. Can you be the coordinator?" And I thought, well, I can't say no now, because I can't say I don't know how to do one because I've done one. So here I am now running that next year, which will be challenging and awesome, and it'll be really exciting to see people from all over the Pacific come and play in Rotorua. That's why I actually went and played Rotorua 2 weeks ago. I was up there for another reason, but I thought I'd better play it so I know know how it's going to go.
So that must bring some quite a lot of numbers over, right? If it's
I've never been involved in APs or played it, but from my understanding, it gets a lot of numbers, and it's going to be big too because we've had COVID. I think a lot of people will jump on the opportunity to travel for it because we've been in lockdowns all over the world for the last few years. So it should be really, really, really cool. So looking forward to that as well.
So good to get people who, they may even go to Rotorua maybe with no knowledge of what disc golf is and end up participating or at least giving it a go. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I've got mates in the police that are playing like touch and other sports, and they've given me the dates for theirs and said, make sure disc golf doesn't cross over with mine because I want to play disc golf as well. So a lot of people want to play it.
And I was going to say, now over the ditch, is it still going to be like police force, like bonded versus fire? Or is it going to be like Kiwis versus Aussies?
That's a really good question. I would like to hope it's New Zealand versus Aussie. We'll back each other, but you never really know, do you? I guess police and fire and that will still be separate and still have good competitions. But it'll be quite interesting to see how that all goes.
So how big does this go within the emergency services then?
Like how big do I want to take it? I mean, as big as I can. I've already discussed with my colleague, who's sort of my assistant for running it, Mike. We want to run the South Island one but open to the whole of New Zealand in November. Then we'll do APs in March, and then next year I would like to run a national one as well. And thankfully, funnily enough, we had the first ever police esports. If you know what esports is, gaming.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm. Like I said, police sport is quite big. We had the first one of them about a few weeks ago, and I got to meet the head of like police sport or some of the coordinators, and I sort of over a few beers pitched my idea, and here I am wearing a police sport coordinator top, and they said, "Yep, we accept you." So I've got them behind us now too. So national one's my next goal after AP's end of next year, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Try and make it national and do it as much as we can.
So can we expect a whole kind of wave of cops to be entering into the New Zealand tour events then? Is this going to be something that you've had people wanting to show interest in competing on a sort of outside of emergency services?
Oh yeah, it's a good question. Like, it's early days, so you never know. You could. There's a few like the guys in the fire were really good, and there's one cop I can think of, or two that are really, really good. And you never know, they could do, but you never know. I mean, we probably don't get out as much as we'd like to be able to practice, but that would be pretty cool to have someone from the police that came through us and then branched out and started competing. That'd be pretty exciting, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye out for that when
Yes.
when it happens. Excellent. Good stuff. Ideal. Look, so James, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been real good to hear about the stories about how, people who are doing an incredibly stressful job, often putting their lives on the line, are using disc golf and getting the benefits of disc golf in order to help out their kind of their mental health and their physical health. It's really, really good to hear.
Yeah, no, thanks so much for having me. It's a new experience for me to be on a podcast as well and to discuss it. So, yeah, it's good. And like you said, it's not just aimed at police. Like anything you do, it's use it as a tool. Go out, throw a disc, even if it's raining, throw 9 holes. If you need to get out, you need to get out.
Right.
Yeah, or if you could, even if you got someone you're a bit concerned about, hey, come for a game with me. Come for a throw around. It can do wonders for people.
No, I completely agree. Look, so thank you so much for coming on. I'm sure we'll speak to you again and keep us updated on the Aussie Kiwi battle that goes on in Rotorua.
Yes. Well, if you don't hear from me, we probably lost, but I'll keep it.
Or you're out throwing a game because
Yeah.
you lost. And
Yeah.
need to blow off some steam.
Well,
I was going to say, should we take him through some desert island disc golf?
Oh, absolutely. I almost forgot about that. Excellent. So, yes, of course. So this segment of the show, if anyone's unaware, is Desert Island Disc Golf. The premise is that James is stranded on a desert island. Now, fortunately, there's a disc golf course on this desert island, and he's been stranded with 3 discs and 3 card mates. The discs can be whatever he likes, and the card mates can be whoever they like. They can be real or fantasy. They can be old or young. They can be people he knows or seasoned pros. They can be whoever he likes. So, James, take us through your 3 discs. What 3 discs have you got?
Right, got them next to me. So, I like I said, I'm still collecting discs. There's nothing fancy, but my go-to sort of driver is the Innova Star Mystere.
Okay.
I love this disc. I don't know why, but it works well for me. It's nothing fancy. But this is my driver, and almost mid-range sometimes when I just want to go for it. That's my main one.
So talk us through, because you mentioned that you're a beginner player or someone who hasn't played a long time. How does that Mystere throw for you? What's its flight pattern generally if you throw it flat?
I find it goes. Obviously, it's always going to. I'm right-handed, so it's always going to go left at the end. But I find I can get quite a straight, can get quite straight and low with this. As compared to the Rebel Sport ones, they just went everywhere sometimes. so dented up from the trees nowadays, anyway. But yeah, quite straight and then just a little left to the end, which I quite like it because I'm used to it thrown like that. And that's why it works well for me anyway.
Fantastic.
That's my
Okay.
my main one. This doesn't come out very often, and I actually need to invest in a better mid-range. But the classic RPM P Waka Waka just goes incredibly straight for me. If I'm just a wee bit out, I just want to sort of approach just straight on. No issues with that really. And then
I think a lot of people might argue with you about a better mid-range. There's a lot of people will have that in their bag.
Yeah, this is one of the first ones they did. So they've brought out a second sort of generation, which is a lot better, which I need to go and get, or I just probably need to buy another mid-range. But you're not wrong. These have been great. I mean, I wouldn't be here where I am today if it wasn't for this set. So, and then lastly, my putter, which is the Innova Colt.
Oh wow! Okay.
Which I used to use the RPM putter, and I switched to this, and this has been awesome. My putting game has improved immensely since owning this, which is really, really cool.
We don't have many Colts on the show. I'll be honest.
So that one came from NZ Disc Sports Suppliers, which I just like the look of it. I thought that's cool. It's got a gun on it. I'll try that. It's been awesome. And that's my three main discs anyway. That's where I am. So I've got some other basic ones that I just let people borrow. So
fantastic.
Leave it to a constable to have a Colt as his.
It probably doesn't look too good, does it?
You're looking American more and more here, James.
Yeah.
Okay, and who are your three card mates?
Okay, three card mates for. I think might be told off if I didn't say it, but I'd have to take my partner, my beautiful partner. She loves a good game of disc golf as well, so it'd be cool to have her.
Yes.
I'd definitely take Mike because I play with him every day. So I know when he's having a good day and a bad day, so I know how good I need to throw on the day to beat him. And thirdly, I'll probably take Simon Lazzotti. He's sort of who I watch a lot. I watch a lot of his highlights, and I always track him on what he's up to and stuff. And he's recently been throwing really good, so I've been enjoying that.
He's been playing very well recently.
Yeah, that'd be my three.
Fantastic. Yes. So no, very good. Very good. Sounds like a very entertaining card. Right, now we're going to move on to the quick fire round. So we've got the family friendly front nine, which is the same 9 questions to everybody every week. And then we got a safari back 9, which is different questions for everybody every week. So here we go. Question number 1, what's your name?
James.
Where were you born?
Christchurch, New Zealand.
Where do you live now?
I live in Christchurch, Redwood.
Your PDGA number?
PGA number?
Your PDGA number.
PDG, I don't know what that is, sorry. PDG.
Okay.
Oh, it doesn't have one yet. Okay.
You might need to get one. Okay, so how many years have you been playing?
A year, probably 12, just over a year.
Excellent. Your favourite course?
Favourite course, Queenstown, New Zealand, so far.
Your favourite disc?
Favourite disc? Definitely it's my Nova Star Mystere, because that's what I use all the time.
Yeah, your favourite MPO player?
MPO. Is that just normal professionals or?
Favorite
male professional player.
Yeah, Simon Lazzotti.
And your favorite female professional player?
I haven't really watched much females, unfortunately. I've only just recently started watching.
Okay, all good. I would encourage you to watch some female disc golf. It's incredibly entertaining and very, very competitive. But Brady, take us through the Safari back 9.
Yeah, so these are just this or that. So I'll give you an either or. You pick which one sits well with you. Morning shift or night shift?
Night shift every day of the week.
Donuts or pies?
Pies.
Brunch and a coffee or dinner and beers?
Brunch and a coffee.
Organize an event or play in an event?
I'm going to say organize an event.
Innova or RPM?
Innova, definitely.
Do you prefer a wooded fairway or an open fairway?
Wooded. I like wooded, yep.
Wooded. Would you rather throw a putter or putt with a driver?
Putt with a driver.
Would you rather have the long drive or make a big putt?
Make a big putt.
And lastly, do you run it or do you lay up?
I'm horrible, so it's layup. It's a layup. I'm not good enough yet.
Fair enough. That is your back nine.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, James, for joining us. A lot of
worries.
fun, and we've learned a lot about how disc golf's helping the police force, and we obviously want to hear a little bit more about that as it progresses. So, look, very best of luck with your future tournaments, and yeah, hopefully hear from you again soon.
Yeah, no worries. I just want to say again, big thanks to you guys for inviting me, and also big thanks to New Zealand Disc Sports Supplies, Leon and Phil. They've been awesome to us. Make sure you use them if you need them as well, as you guys. So, yeah, again, thanks so much for having me.
Fantastic.
Cheers.
All right.
Thanks, James.
See you again.
See you later.
Cheers. There we go. Look, I mean, if there was any more reasons to kind of justify why disc golf is the best sport, right? Full stop. I'm not making no apology for that. Then yeah. I mean, how many more reasons do you need? And James highlighted some there. Easy to get into. Anyone can play it. Cheap to get started. Really good for mental health. Really good for physical health. Yeah, it just kind of does everything a sport should do, right?
Yeah, well, I love that he talked about that. You know, it's like, oh, you had a good day? Like, go celebrate with some disc golf. Oh, you've had a bad day? Go blow off some steam with some disc golf. You know, like in that idea of, I love just the humbleness of it. You know, if like, look, everyone has good days and bad days at work. It doesn't matter if you work in a car or you work in an office. You know what I mean? If you need to blow off some steam or you need to check out or think about something else, like go have a throw. I think that's absolutely great that, you know, as much as he, you know, talked about that there's competition, and like, I'm sure that just like all of the services, you know, like that they're going to be super competitive. Let's be fair. But it's like, no, like come have a round, have a muck round, have a barbecue. Like we're going to go for drinks afterwards. Like it just sounds like a great event. Like I'm not a cop, but I want to go play. Like, can I be a part even if I'm not?
It's fantastic and really, really good to hear, and also really good to hear that and see that disc golf's being played kind of outside of the kind of community that, you know, we interact with, and probably many people who are listening tonight are a part of. It's great to see disc golf being played in a kind of in a community that's not necessarily you know, it's separate to that, and having more and more people getting involved, which is fantastic. So yeah, no, good on James, and great to see. We'll certainly hear more about how that happens in the future. Right, we've got a few things going on in the next couple of weeks. So the deadline for nominating people for the roles of chairman, secretary, and treasurer in the NZDG SGM, which is coming up, was this evening at 7 o'clock. So if you're not in already, then you've missed it. But what it means is that on the 1st of August, so dates for your diary, 1st of August, which is a week on Monday, so not Monday coming, the week after, we'll get notification of who has been who is standing. Also, you'll get a link to do the e-voting, all in the same email, right? So you know, your opportunity to vote arrives at the same time as finding out who is standing. Okay. Now, we've got a show on the 4th of August, which is the following Thursday, 2 weeks from today. And we're going to be talking to all of the people who have put their names forward, at least inviting them onto the show to have a chat to them, similar to how we've done twice before. And so what I would encourage you to do is, one, absolutely vote, but two, wait until the 4th of August, until after the show, or until you've had a chance to see the show or hear the show, before making your decision. I did hear of a couple of people who voted in a particular way and then listened to the show and might have voted differently had they listened to the show prior. So, I mean, it's important that that you've got as much information before making your vote as is reasonable, and so wait for that show on the 4th of August before putting your vote in. Now, the deadline, the SGM is on the 10th of August, right? So the SGM is the 10th of August, is the Wednesday after. Well, Oh no! Wait a minute. Have I got that right? No, the 11th of August, I think, is the SGM. The 11th of August is the SGM. Voting ends on the 10th of August. So you've got a week after our show on the 4th to digest your thoughts and to put them into vote form. All the same things from previously count. Remember, it's anybody over the age of 13 can be involved in this if they're a member of NZDG. So I'd encourage anybody with parents who have children who qualify to get them to go through the diplomatic process or the democratic process and get involved. Give them the choices and get them to make a decision. Right, so that's all coming up. So lots of exciting stuff on the agenda. Talking of things that are coming up, let's have a quick look at the upcoming events. We got the Tucker Beach Rush, which is in just over a week's time, down in Queenstown on the 30th and 31st of July. The week after is the 2 women's global events that are happening in Wellington and in Auckland. And we've actually got Charlotte Dunkley joining us on the show next week. She's the TD of the Auckland event. So she's going to be talking to us a little bit more about that event. The Wellington one is sold out. It's been sold out for a few weeks now. But the numbers that have been signed up, I mean, it's over on this day, on the 6th of August, over 100 ladies will be playing disc golf in New Zealand in a PDGA sanctioned event. It's absolutely fantastic to see. So well done to everybody involved there. Midwinter Classic is the second event, in the Dunedin trio of events, I think. Then the Blood Sacrifice at the Confluence in Wanaka on the 20th of August, Cold Snap Open. The Macbeth Foundation fundraiser, that's gone live, so you can register at events all over the country. If you head over to Disc Golf Scene and search over your favorite ones, or look out for your get in contact with your local disc golf tournament organizer, depending on where you are in the country, and they will be putting the word out. Get involved in that. It's going to be good fun. We're running one in Petone actually on the 3rd of August. It's a flex start, 18 holes at Petone. So you play the Petone course twice. There's some Sweet Chain credit for the winner of the Petone one. And some spot prizes, and then there's also you get involved in the raffle for the national event as well. Then the Extreme end of September. Brady, you mentioned that earlier. You're going up for that, and then the Armageddon in Nelson that's sold out in seconds. We've got the Christchurch Trilogy Challenge on the 4th of September. That Gecko Sports organised. That's going to be a lot of fun. If you like Trilogy discs, I do, then you'll be sure to play well there. I think you get I don't know what the discs are. I think it's the new putter from Dynamic and a Saint. I think are 2 of them.
Yeah, it's a gold line Saint. It looks awesome. Yeah,
a Topor Thermal Throwdown in Topor on early October, and then Beffels, and then of course Wahitapu Fault Line, and then the 3 big ones. In the 3 majors early next year. We'll very quickly go over the power rankings. No changes from the power rankings. We've not had any events that qualify, but yeah, that's what we're looking at for now. That will obviously be updated after the Tucker Beach Rush. Will be the next time we get an update there, and then the ladies one will probably change quite a lot when the Women's Global event happens. There'll be lots of movement there, I'm sure. Lovely stuff. So, Brady, busy week for you?
Yeah, I was going to say prep starts now. With the Extreme coming up, I got some work I got to do. So yeah, I got to figure out how to putt without the wind. Please tell me how I can get some putting practice between now and September with that, and that would be great.
Yes, indeed. It's been quite blowy here in Wellington, and we hope it hope it ends soon. But anyway, wherever you're playing disc golf, take it easy, play well, get some birdies, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.